Cool. Anthony, welcome to Boardmasters.
Nice to
we were
meet
just
you,
talking about what a beautiful setting it is. How does it feel to be here, despite the rain?
I mean, it's not really rain, is it? It's like kind of a mist.
Yeah.
But I think it just makes it more ominous. It feels really early, but it's not. I think I was kind of looking around at people's faces and everyone's already on it.
Yeah.
I thought it's a bit early, but it's not. It's
Chased the status last night. I think that set a heavy tone. People are ready to go into it. They'll be ready for you.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, well, we were just talking then. You've had a very busy sort of festival season. You've been doing the run of festivals along with other bands.
Yeah.
How's that been for you? As a relatively new
That's
artist,
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, that's the right thing to say. Yeah, I think last year was the first time we'd done any of this. You know, my first tour was November. So it's all still brand new and we're still loving it, even though there's, you know, we came in from Gothenburg yesterday. But we're loving it. Like, it's really nice. We're still doing a lot of it ourselves. Like, it's just like 4 of us in a car and we're just razzing about in higher cars. It's the dream, man. It's just like a travelling circus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to come on to this later, but you're a very grateful musician, which is so pleasing to see. But your latest single, Rafters.
Nice.
I just want to talk about it briefly. You know, we're at a festival now where there's so much to observe, be it people, music, or just anything completely weird. Lyrically, it's such an observational song.
Yeah.
It's talking about, you know, like the nightlife culture of the UK specifically. I just want to dial in on the imagery of the confetti.
Yeah.
And what was it about that sort of observational standpoint, the confetti, that meant you chose that as a launch point lyrically?
That's such a good question. I think, I don't know, I quite like to do, you know, like storytelling, I guess, is where I started. I was writing like novels and stuff before I did all this. And it's like nice to have a focus and just something, almost like think of it like a director. Yeah. Like you kind of like focused on this one thing that's falling down and then everything that's around it. But I think that tune is, again, lots of overheard stuff, a lot about the nightlife. I think that like that house beat kind of helps it feel like it's a song about the nightlife culture, but it kind of branches out as well, like into weddings and funerals and birthdays, and it's like about celebration really. And I think like the confetti is a good little visual metaphor for any kind of you know, celebration.
Do you find yourself, because when I was listening to it, I related to it a lot because I find myself in those sort of communal or group settings at a wedding or something, looking up to the sky, looking at confetti and thinking, how does that work, or how has that got there? And my mind wanders. Do you find yourself doing that in group settings?
All the time. I think a lot of my music is about like living in the moment, and I've actually there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Find that quite difficult, as I've just noticed by that tractor going past. But I do find that quite difficult now, and I think sometimes I will just hone in something. We were driving down here yesterday, and it was sort of pitch black, and you could see the stars kind of like the first time. I had like a proper little stargazer looking out the window with like, have you heard that Headache record with Vegan? No. It's like a sort of spoken word, weird sort of thing. I don't know, I just like try to notice things, because otherwise everything does just barrel on. Like you're on a different festival site, you know, and I always try and remember people's names and stuff like that. I think that's important, or it's just gone.
You can, in the modern world, you can get caught up in your phone or other stuff. It's actually quite important to like take a look and see what's going on, right?
And this job is your phone. Like this job is like being massively attached to your phone, and I kind of wasn't before I started this. And you do live in your phone a lot, and I think I get like, you know, people are always like, that'd make a great TikTok, and I'm like, I can't. If it's my day off, I need to just be in this little bit for a second. I can't sort of like what am I trying to say, mythologize everything.
Why can't it be that would make a great song as opposed to a TikTok, right?
Exactly.
That's where it's going now.
And I was yesterday I was on the flight, and like you're without Wi-Fi for a couple of hours. And I was sort of compiling all the things I'd written down, which I'll do. There's a lot of like sort of disparate notes, and I'll compile them together. Like the worst Auld Lang Syne is like probably 4 different songs combined into one that then had a 3-line. And I was sort of doing that yesterday, and I kind of already excited to get onto the second album, but it's not even out until the start of next year, the first record. But I'm always overhearing things and kind of feeling inspired. I think, which is good as a relief.
Great place to be. We're talking about spoken word then. A lot of your influences, and you recommended that tune for me to listen to. Are they some of the musicians, or are some of them poets as well?
Yeah, everywhere, and films and like directors, and you know, just art in general. I think is where I try and take everything together. I think it's weird because it's like, you know, and you see your little bio and a lineup, and it's kind of like, I sometimes think spoken word will put people off. Can I swear in there?
Yeah,
so it's got a bit wanky poetry sometimes. Like describing yourself as a poet is a bit like, who does he think he is? I think. So I'm a bit. We had a lot of people in Sweden come and they were like, oh, it was described as a spoken word set, but it was a party, and I'm like, I think that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like, you know, especially here, like fucking hell, everyone is fresh out of their GCSE anthology poetry, and I don't really want everyone to think that they're getting like lectured at by Simon Armitage. But it's trying to make it accessible to everyone. I kind of don't believe in like exclusivity and elitism and all that sort of shit. I just want everyone to try and enjoy something. I don't want to be like grandstanding.
I think that's fair, but then I would respond with that by saying that like the music is in such a great place at the minute. There's so many artists who are really like harnessing interesting, intricate poetry. So I think a lot of music fans are like well versed in that, and they're like, I don't know the world we live in today. People want that. People don't want to be.
It's also like, what is poetry and what is rap, or is it like it's all wrapped up in class, isn't it? It's like if I had different clothes on, I'd be a rapper. Basically, I was from a different place. I think there's a lot of labels that are put on things, and it's trying to like break that down because exactly this crowd. If I can get enough people into the tent, I'm confident they'll enjoy themselves. Yeah. But it's just maybe like you don't want people to be put off by a certain label or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Well, talking about this festival then, are there songs that you're going to play to this crowd now that, because obviously we're talking about your album being out next year, the recording and releasing process can be quite long.
Yeah.
So are there songs that you play now that when you recorded maybe you weren't that fond of and now you love because you're playing them?
I think so. That's a really like good thing that happens on tour. There's ones that you don't, you know, you've moved away from loads, and then it becomes something that means something to the people in the crowd. Like again, like the words to Auld Lang Syne, it's not even like our most streamed song, but it's definitely the one in the set that I kind of, it's changed. It changes every week. It changes to the crowd. It's a different crowd, and like I get emotional playing that one because I'm watching people sort of tell their loved ones that they love them and kissing, and like it's just super emotional, man. And like that is good because it, you know, I hoped it'd feel like that in my bedroom, but you can never know when I was sort of writing it, and now it's like, all right, it's not mine anymore. It's like for everybody else, and that's a golden feeling.
Well, I think when you write on your own in your bedroom, as long as you're being authentic, I think every bit of good music that's landed well with the public has always been something that's authentic. So
yeah, that's a nice way of saying. I think I've said this a lot to people recently. It's like sincerity is the key. Everyone's like, "What's your advice about how to sort of get things going or whatever?" And I'm like, it has to be honest, and you have to feel it first, or there's no point. And I think that's where people, excuse me, but so many tractors. I think that's where people get stuck when they're trying to be in another band or they're trying to do a different thing, and it's like only you can tell your story. You know, everyone's got an album in them, everyone's got a record in them or a book or whatever, and it's just having the confidence to be honest and like share it properly. That's why all these acts here that are doing well, like Sam Fender, Holly Humberstone, like it's honesty and it's really confessional and like great. And I think that's good because everyone's kind of disconnected. Everyone wants to feel like your mate a little bit.
Yeah. Talking about your career, then you're like. When I saw your Instagram post about being the 6th Music Artist of the Year, I was so pleased to see how grateful and how much gratitude you had towards that.
Still doesn't feel real now.
Yeah, what's it all been like? This whole roller coaster of your career so far?
I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's hard to, you know, as a teacher for a long time, and I never expect. I'm a music fan, really. I go and watch gigs a lot. That's like my hobby. I'm not into football or anything. And then for it suddenly to be happening to you, it is really, really strange, but really nice. And I always think, you know, any gig could be the last one. This could be the last time we're on the festival circuit. I know how fickle like the movements in the industry are and stuff, so we play every one like we're headlining Glastonbury, you know what I mean? And I think that's what you should do. You've got to be ambitious, but then you've also got to be like, some of my favourite shows are playing to 80 people in like a club, like club shows and stuff, and I still miss them. And I kind of now, because I feel like they're getting away from us, that we play in that big tent today, I'm always like, this could be the last time we play in this sweaty 100 cap room. So I always like try and relish that feeling, and I think that is the key to enjoying it. You've got to find something every day to be thankful for. Like we drove past Stonehenge yesterday by accident. We didn't know we were going to go past it, and we're all in this little flag of the journey, and then we were like, "Oh, it's fucking Stonehenge!" And it was like the most honest reaction. I didn't think I'd ever be excited by seeing a big circle of old stones, but I was like, I would never have seen that. Like I would have never have come down here.
We'll look forward to that song about Stonehenge.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think maybe something did go in the notes up there actually.
Well, on behalf of your fans, like, you know, keep being this grateful because we love it, and that's what it makes people connect with you, and it's so refreshing to see a musician behave the way you do and treat fans the way you do. So it's brilliant. I just want to thank you for that.
Oh well, thank you. That's really nice. Yeah. That's what it feels like. I think I can only be. My emotions are all quite surface level. So I think if I was trying to package that away and try and be like Alex Turner and you know, I couldn't do it. And I always thought I would be Alex Turner, but I'm not. I'm just
we all did at one point.
A little jester. That's fine.
All right, well, last bit, if there's any Boardmasters fans who haven't seen you or coming to watch you today, what can they expect?
I guess like emotional dance music, maybe something that will conjure up some old memories that you forgot you had, a little two-step, hands in the air, maybe a first kiss,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. I hope.
Fingers crossed for some people out there.
I reckon that's what I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna give you all the opportunity. This is your moment.
Yeah.
If you're all looking at each and you think I haven't had the chance,
Do it.
this is
Nice.
right now.
We'll look forward
Yeah.
to that part in a sec. But
Nice
thank
one,
you so
man.
much, Anthony. Great
Thank
to
you
meet
for the research and like
That's
knowing
all
it.
right.
You've almost nardwared me there.
Yeah.
Thought you were
Not
gonna tell me
quite.
what my nursery was.
That's
or
the biggest
something.
compliment you can give it into.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you very much.
Nice one.
Cheers, mate.
That was great, man.
Thank you.